You stretch your back, blinking against the glare as the last pressed linen sheets are gathered into tidy bundles. The work slows, but the air still vibrates faintly with heat. You can taste salt on your lips, and you realize it's not just from sweat, it's the faint residue of natron drifting like invisible dust. You inhale, and it burns sweetly in your nose, sharp but oddly clean. The woman beside you, same one who scolded the boys earlier, pats a stack of freshly folded cloth and says, "Now the gods may breathe." Her tone is matter-of-fact, but the words catch your attention. Linen wasn't just clothing here. It was purity made visible, a declaration that your body, and by extension, your spirit, was in harmony with cosmic order. In ancient Egypt, cleanliness was next to godliness, quite literally. Every morning, priests washed head to toe in cold water drawn straight from the Nile, shaved every inch of their bodies, and wrapped themselves in spotless linen before entering temple grounds. To wear soiled or wrinkled fabric near a shrine would be like tracking mud into a modern art gallery, utterly unthinkable. Historians still argue whether this obsession was religious or simply practical in the relentless desert heat. But either way, it gave linen an almost mystical prestige. When the Greeks later wrote about Egypt, they described its people as the pure ones, always bathing, always wrapped in white, as if trying to outshine the sand itself. You look around and see it now, how every crease, every fold, carries a quiet message. To appear smooth and spotless wasn't vanity. It was alignment with Ma'at, the Egyptian concept of truth and balance. Even the gods, in statues and reliefs, wore pleated garments that seemed eternally crisp. A single wrinkle might signal disorder, a tiny rebellion against perfection. You can't help smirking. Imagine explaining that to your modern laundry pile. "Sorry, I can't meet chaos incarnate today. I'm out of starch." One of the older workers catches your grin and raises an eyebrow. "You think this is foolish?" she asks. Her voice is teasing, but her eyes are sharp. You shake your head quickly. "No," you say, "I think it's beautiful." She smiles faintly. "Good. Beauty is part of order." As the day pushes toward noon, you all move into a shaded corridor along the temple wall. Here, racks of finished cloth hang like banners in a breeze. They whisper softly when stirred, a sound that reminds you of distant waves. The foreman inspects each length carefully, murmuring short approvals. You notice a scribe nearby marking symbols onto a clay tablet. Inventory, most likely, to track which cloths will clothe which idols or line which sanctuaries. Bureaucracy and divinity, still best friends after all these centuries. He reads aloud in a low monotone, 2 bolts for the priests of Horus, 1 for the embalming chamber, 1 for the offering altar. You picture a filing cabinet somewhere in the afterlife, groaning under the weight of celestial laundry lists. A small group of women begins folding the linen into tighter packets, using bone or ivory clips to keep edges straight. Their fingers move quickly but delicately, tucking corners with almost maternal care. It strikes you that this exact gesture, folding, smoothing, stacking, has probably been repeated billions of times in human history. There's something soothing in that continuity. The talk drifts, lazy and unhurried. Someone mentions a wedding preparation in the city, the bride's family supposedly ordering 20 bolts of fine linen woven with blue thread. Blue? One woman scoffs. Only the gods look good in blue. The group laughs. Another says her neighbor swears by rubbing olive oil into cloth to make it gleam, though that sounds suspiciously like an expensive disaster waiting to happen. You sit with them a while, half listening, half daydreaming. The stone floor beneath you radiates warmth through your legs. Insects hum overhead. The faint scent of burned incense wafts from a nearby shrine. You realize the temple laundries aren't just places of work, they're social sanctuaries. Every story, every complaint, every laugh gets woven into the air like invisible thread. And then, inevitably, someone starts a small debate, the kind that's probably echoed here for centuries. "Do you think the gods really notice?" asks one woman, wringing out her scarf in thought. Another shrugs. "If they didn't, why would we keep doing it?" A third chimes in, eyes glinting. Maybe they notice the trying. The conversation drifts into soft laughter and silence again, but the thought lingers. Maybe perfection isn't the point. Maybe it's the gentle, daily act of trying to make something pure. You can't help noticing, too, how linen and life seem to mirror each other. Every day starts rough and wrinkled, then slowly smooths out under the right mix of patience, warmth, and a little elbow grease. Maybe that's why this ritual feels so universal. Even without electricity, They found a way to polish chaos into calm. Outside the shaded corridor, the air quivers. You step into the sunlight again, and for a moment, you're blinded by the brightness bouncing off all that pale fabric. It's like stepping into a dream made entirely of reflection. The workers scatter the last pieces of cloth across flat surfaces to dry completely. The river glimmers in the distance, a slow-moving mirror of light. A priest passes by, his linen robes gleaming unnaturally white. He smells faintly of lotus and myrrh. When he nods in greeting, you see the faint lines of starch at his sleeves, sharp as origami. You have to fight the absurd urge to ask which worker pressed them. Nice pleats. Father, who's your laundress? But you manage to keep a straight face. He stops briefly to bless the workers, drawing a quick ank in the air. May your cloth carry the light of the sun, he murmurs. It sounds poetic, but in this place, it's also literal. The linen you helped press today will drape the statues of gods tomorrow, absorb incense smoke, then be washed again to repeat the cycle. It's laundry as liturgy. The heat presses against your shoulders like a physical weight. Someone brings out small cups of cool barley water, sweetened slightly with dates. You drink, grateful, feeling the sugar wake up your senses. The flavor is faintly malty, comforting. For a brief moment, you think you could stay here forever, caught between chores and holiness, between the smell of sun and salt. But there's still more to learn, because for all their purity rituals and divine laundries, the Egyptians also had very human routines. Drying tricks, folding competitions, gossip about who had the softest tunic in town. You hear laughter rising from a nearby courtyard again. Another batch of linen is being lifted to the roofs, where the heat will finish the job and the insects hum like tiny overseers. You follow the sound, already half dreaming, the sunlight thick as syrup around you. The day is far from done, and the linen, well, it's still got a few wrinkles left to conquer.